Hey, what's good? What's good? It's Coach Rashid, and yeah, I'm back, man. And you may be wondering, what is it about, man? What are you doing? Where you been? Where you been hiding out? Well, I hadn't really been hiding out at all. But you just have to kind of take a step back, and we had to review 2024, see where it was going. And funny thing, as you can tell, I'm out here in my yard walking, and I usually go to the track, walk a little bit, get a little exercise in. Gotta get those skills moving, get those, joints lubricated, just making it happen. And I'm gonna tell you a little bit about what really is incredible when it comes to this new action, so to speak. One key thing is why now, right? Well, let me tell you, I always have people sending me information, and just really let me know what's out there. Hey, look, jump onto this, jump into that. A couple of years back, we were very interested in this market, this industry, the crypto and the passive income and active income and, some networking and just helping communities. And, our intention was, look, let's grow this thing. Let's find the best projects. And then let's see if we can help some people avoid some of these pitfalls, right? Because we know that as time went on, there were more pitfalls, if you will, than ways to really earn. So after a couple of years of, ups and downs, we had a lot of success in 2023, built a coalition, if you will, of really great people, what I call Team Achieve. The Team Achieve Club, and then I came up with the Team Achieve Prosperity Club. And the Prosperity Club was more of a, that like-minded people that weren't afraid of risk. We've done pretty well, with some of the projects, but we still, had that risk capital. We were able to try to experiment a little bit so we can bring the best to the community when we saw it working. And if it didn't work, we didn't put the community at risk. So these have been some of the things that really motivated me to just try to help the community. I put out lots of videos in the last couple of years, just really try my best to say, you know what, we do have some great projects out there. We do have people that want to do the right thing. And over time, as you know, a lot of them everything that you can imagine that was on the checklist to validate projects, there was nothing that was off the table of scams or of people that would use actors. They would use fake offices, they would use setups, they would use they would steal information, and they would post it up as if it was their own when it was really somebody else's. And so they would make it look like they were being successful. When it came to trading, they would say, hey, we'll show you the trading, but they'll show you like an MT4. They'll show you results of something that happened at another time, but it wasn't even their own information after the failures. So things went on like this for some time. And so by the time of 2024 came around, we had set up more mid to long-term projects that made sense. Now, many people, and as you know, for those that are watching right now, you probably were like, look, when I lost, I wanted to go ahead and get my money back as quick as possible. So it's hard to tell someone, hey, just hang in there, 6 months from now, you'll be made whole, everything will be great. And they're like, look, I just lost $1,000. I just lost $10,000. I have people that lost over $100,000. And they're like, well, I don't want to wait 6 months. So people were wanting something right then. And I was like, I'm not doing it, because we've seen it all. We've seen so many that look good. We jump on board, make a little money, and then all of a sudden they just fail. So I said, nope, I'm not doing it. So the ones that we had in our portfolio, which we still have, they are solid. They have continued to grow, but they are mid to long term. We have one that's a private play, and a lot of us have multiple, very diversified, we have those, and those are set up for us over the next, it was 6 months. Now 6 months by, there's a couple other projects that we've added that have come into different, delays, but they're still here. A couple of them that we thought were gone came back. So we do have those solid plays. So that's what I'm very proud of, the fact that even though there were some missteps along the way, like anybody else, we did maintain solid platforms that are now giving us the schedule to when the payments are going to come out, and they're still growing the business and putting things in place that they will not, have these, future withdrawal issues. So that's all you can ask for. And having the opportunity to be, obviously on some of the leadership teams and the boards of these projects, we really get the real deal. We get the anger, we get the good, the bad, we get the candid conversations. So I can't sit here and tell you that everything is perfect, but what I can tell you is, based upon, what we've seen in 2024 that carried over from 2023 and that's still with us, those are solid projects that are doing the right thing. So in the midst of all of that, my intro today, based upon me, you're like, why is he walking around in his backyard? Well, interesting as it may seem, this is what, month number 8, almost month number 9, and you haven't even seen me promote like anything in any real stretch, right? I might have talked about it here or there, talk about a few projects here or there, things that are working, things that, might be, a little profit here, little money here, little money there. Well, I have definitely been on a hiatus to make sure that if and when I do a video, it is about something that is real. It is about something that people can say, okay, you know what? I can get behind that. Look, I heard somebody talking about, and even in the meeting, there's some super leaders that we all, like I say, we all been through some challenges, believe me. And so I pretty much stayed away from the other people in this community, the other YouTubers, influencers, the other networkers, because I was like, nobody is hitting a home run. We all have these challenges. So why would I go out there and just jump on whatever they're doing when everybody's got the same challenges? So I stepped back and I said, I'm just going to observe everything. So I was introduced to many projects by a good friend of mine out of Thailand, and he just continued to send. And, some projects we were in a long time ago, they were good for like 2 years, and then they sold the company to another agent. They came back with some new things, and most of us didn't really like it, so we didn't really jump on it. So I was just avoiding everything. Then he kept sending me some information about this GetFit, app. And I'm like, it looks like network marketing. I don't want to do that. So then I was watching. So I've known Bitcoin Brandon, which is Brandon Ivey, for some years, right? I knew he was an educational consultant for crypto and everything in a previous company. And that one obviously didn't go anywhere either. But the guy was very smart. The guy knew his stuff. So I jumped in his Facebook group a long time ago, and I saw, I think it was about 6 months ago or so, I saw him talking about this GetFit. And I'm like, okay, it's been about 6 months, 3 months, 6 months, and I haven't done anything. And I'm like, man, 2024, it's a challenge. I'm not getting any, new income, little bits here, bits there, but I'm like, man, this is a tough year, right? So I said, man, I can't, anything that I touch, I'm not going to promote, because I don't know what's going to work. I don't know if anything is going to work. So I was just stepping back saying, it's got to be right, and it's got to feel right. It's got to be right. It's got to have the real substance, but it's got to be different from what we had. Got to be different from everything. So it looked like network marketing. So I said, nope, you know what? I'm not doing it. So I watched him because I got a lot of respect for him. So I'm watching him and I listened a little bit, and then he had other people come on. They were actually introducing the program. I didn't know that they weren't actually doing the presentation. So when I saw it, I was like, oh, okay, he's just kind of promoting it, but he's not even doing it. So I was like, no, I'm not looking at that. So, but I kept seeing the notices pop up, right? So day after day, I see the notice pop up, and I never really looked at it. So 3 or 4 months go by, and it's still popping up. I'm like, wait a minute, maybe I should look at this. So I take a look, and I think I looked at one of the presentations, and I'm like, I like it, but I said, man, I don't work out. That's a whole different story I'm gonna talk to you about. So I'm not a person that works out, right? I was an athlete, I was on the Air Force track team back in the day. I played high level football and ran a track and field. You can go to Chapel Hill out there in Texas and go to my old school, and you'll see still got my name on the wall. But at the end of the day, I needed to work out for my kids, right? Doctors say, hey, you got high blood pressure. You really, you can take these pills, or you can just change your diet. I'm like, man, I don't even have a bad diet. But as we know, some people, it's just, it's in our genetics, right? And so you may not have a bad diet, but genetically, if you have people in your family that have high blood pressure or high cholesterol, this, that, and the other, and you're not really monitoring it, then any little thing will take yours up higher. So basically I said, look, I got kids and I want to be around for a while, and I know how this can sneak up on you. So I kept trying to figure out, how do I get motivated to get out there? I want to do it. And then when I start, I always stop, because of work or because of this, because of that. Well, now that I work from home, I'm like, there's no excuse, but I'm doing all these other things that's getting in the way. So the reason why I give you that is, a lot of you may be saying, I need to work out. So a lot of you may be saying, I want to lose weight, or I want to get strength. I want to, do some exercise, but you just can't really figure out how to get up off your seat and do it. Well, today I'm gonna give you a way to do it, because it got me up and I said, wow, this is great. Because it doesn't matter what the motivation is, as long as you're doing it, period. That's the way I see it, right? Because my kids are going to benefit no matter who, what, where, when, how, as long as I'm exercising, as long as I'm trying to do something to make sure my heart is pumping right, my blood is pumping right, my legs are working right, and I'm extending, the time that I'm here based upon doing what I'm supposed to do, within my power, right? So that's a real big deal for me. So while I'm doing this walking and this exercising, and I'm getting my steps in, like I hear people talk about that, I'm like, oh, now I get it. Guess what? Every step I take, I'm getting paid. Yeah. Oh, by the way, let's say you don't take steps. You remember the saying is, you're not really wealthy until you're making money while you sleep. What if there's a way that this company, this app, this decentralized app, it's not a company, decentralized app, smart contract, pays you to sleep? Does it get any easier than that? So like I said, if you're not motivated by anything else in reality, can you get motivated by getting paid when you lay your head down and you wake up the next morning, God willing? Can you get motivated to just do that? Can you just click a button and say, I slept 7 hours, 8 hours, 9 hours, whatever it is? They're only going to pay you for 8. They pay you to sleep. That's crazy, right? Now, obviously, you're not going to get paid a lot for sleeping, but it's a part of the program, right? You get your steps in, you ride a bike, right? You do some CrossFit, push-ups, sit-ups. You work in the yard, which I do that too, right? Wasn't doing it before though, but I'm doing it now. So let's say you want to pedal on a bike. Let's say a stationary bike. You put your GetFit watch on, and I'm gonna tell you, you don't even need a watch. Just so you know, I don't have a watch, but I just use the app on my phone. As long as I got the phone with me, it's tracking everything that I do, and that's adding to the shares I get of the tokens. And at the end of every day or a couple of days, I can go ahead and submit those, claim them if I want. There's fees with claiming, so you got to be careful on that. But at the end of the day, you can do exactly what I'm doing right now, walking and talking, devising your exercise plan for the day. When you're playing with your kids, that's exercise, right? You just have to categorize it in the right way. There are so many options to your activities. You select those activities. You record those activities as inside your Google Fit or Fitbit or Health Connect. Your GetFit mining app will go ahead and take that information when you set it up, and it will give you shares of these tokens every single day. And while you're doing this activity, it's recording everything and it's equating it to shares that you can cash in at a later date, right? So you could claim anytime you want, but I'm just saying, if you really want to make real life-changing money, right, then you might want to hold on to it for a little while. Because let me give you an insight to why I'm talking about this, why I'm making a whole separate video, which is supposed to be an introduction, but it's a whole separate video. So I might as well post this and then post another one. In this particular program, you can actually submit for walking, for riding a bike, stationary or real. I'm gonna get one of those treadmills, a small one that I can just put in my office, and while I'm doing my job, because I work from home, then I'll be able to get more steps in while I'm actually working right there in my home. Like, that's crazy. But I like walking around outside because I normally don't even come outside during the day because I'm always on the computer, because my job demands it. So now my schedule is different. So I got some time to go ahead and incorporate this walking, in the morning when it's cool, and then I could do some in the afternoon after work. But guess what? I get that treadmill, I could do it right there at my computer, which is awesome, right? So this is how easy it is, and it's so beneficial. If you ever wanted to help generate a movement for health and wealth, I think this idea, this decentralized organization, which is based on a smart contract in Web3, they have definitely what we call cracked the code. They have cracked it wide open, because I was not doing this. But if I'm up, and then when I hear the testimonials of so many people, I just saw a video, a good friend of mine from this space, Crypto Vet, he actually said the same thing. And I was like, wow, that's like my story, dude. Like, bum knee, right? My knee it's been really, really, I don't know if I sleep that. I always sleep with my knees bent. So that could be a problem over 50 years. I guess it could be. So one day I woke up and I was like, man, I can't hardly walk. I was limping and it just felt like when I tried to bend down, when I'm down on my knees in prayer, and I can't bend like I normally do. I'm like, man, this is something ain't right. So I said, I think I got to get up and get to moving. And so I'm just saying, all of these little signs that maybe I wasn't motivated personally to get up off my butt and do it. Then there were so many different things that happened along the way that said, you really need to get up. You really need to get up. You really need to get up. And thank you. I'm so grateful, because it took all these pieces to get me up so that I could become more healthy. And now, as I've been walking for the last maybe 3 weeks, I try to do it every day, about an hour here, a couple hours sometimes. I still have a little pain, but my stretching, my elasticity, when I bend, I can do it like I was before. I don't have that restriction. I don't have that problem, right? So it's not a matter of, oh my gosh, I need to do this so I can get paid. No, I need to do this to be healthy. And thank you, decentralized contract, Web3, smart contract, crypto, for giving me, $90, $100 a day just to do what I'm supposed to be doing anyway. And that's just a bonus. So if you look at it in the way of, man, I'm glad that I'm up walking, I'm glad I'm doing this, you start to feel like you did when you were in high school, when you were always motivated to compete, you always motivated to be healthier, be stronger, be faster, right? That was the high. was how can I beat myself from last week? I did this. How much better can I be this week? Right? That feeling now is coming back 30 years later, 35 years later. I'm feeling that, wow, I did this last week. What am I going to do to up myself next week? Right? And that's how I was when I was competing back in the day. So this is such a beautiful thing. This is such an incredible thing that works. And I know it'll work for you. If you could understand that the GetFit MoveQuest, program, when I first saw it, they were able to give leaders opportunities to go ahead and acquire what we call miners, right? Got to mine the tokens. That's how you make money, is with the token mining. So those tokens would be mined through these miners. Well, back then, they were just starting the program. They were like, look, we need to get this thing out there. We got to get this awareness out there. So look, anybody that's a leader, anybody, if you can bring people on and help us get the word out, we'll give you these miners. Now, what's so significant about that? There was no cost involved in that initial push, right? Like, look, if you can help us out, then we'll give you these miners. Well, then the miners, boom, you get them. Then the tokens were 30 cents. So tokens at 30 cents, and you just need a few tokens to go ahead and evolve those miners. So let's say you had $180 and you could evolve all your miners to Omegas. And you'll know more about this as you start to understand the program. So you got funds like $180 and you evolve your miners all the way to Omegas. Now you got 7 Omegas. If you came in the top 300, the first 300 in July, right? They launched it in July 22. And my friend was telling me, get in. I'm like, nah, dude, I'm good. So literally the night before, I'm like, all right, I've looked at this thing. I better get some of these tokens. $180, I could do it. Well, guess what happened? I slept on it. And I literally slept on it, didn't get up and do what I was supposed to do. Within a couple of days, the token went from 30 cents to $1. It launched at the $1. And I was like, okay, it's $1. I can buy, a couple of $100 of them. No, by the time I could even get in and swap my AVAX for the MQT token, it was already $5. Within a week, it had went from 5, of course, token launching. Oh my gosh, I got to sell. This thing is at $5. It's not going to go any higher. People start selling. So it dropped down. But here's what happened. This was what really got me excited. When it dropped, most of the time, you'll see that red just go down, down, down. People are selling. And it just keeps going down and just doesn't come back. Well, guess what? Within a couple of days, it went from the 3 back up to the 5, and it passed the 5 and got up to 9, right? In 2 weeks, it was over $15 per token. Now, you're doing the same workout every day. You have 7 Omega miners, which is the top maximum capacity, over 300% mining capacity, and you are doing the same exercise when it was $1, when it was $5, when it was $9. It got to 15, 16. Within a weekend, it went from 16 all the way over to 26. Within 3 weeks, it had 35x. Do y'all really understand what I'm telling you here? This token started at 30 cents. When it launched, it was at $1. Within a week, it went to 5. And then within the next 3 weeks, it was all the way up over $35 per token. So you might be asking the question, oh, well, most tokens when they launch, people, they see it go up, it goes up, and then, let's say it goes up, 350%, and they sell, and then it drops. Now, that happened in another program, and I watched it happen. And it was very depressing. And I did okay, but a friend of mine, he did cash out when it hit right before it started dropping. He pulled out. He made about 4x. He put in 5,000. He pulled out 20, and that was in the first week. But that program was about 2 months ago, and it still has not recovered. So believe me when I say, yeah, I've seen this happen before, and you have too. But here's the difference. When MQT, when they launched the program, it shot up $1 to $5. That's 5x, right? Day one, right? That first week, 5x, people selling. It dropped down to about $3. But within the next 3 weeks, it's over $35 per token. How is that possible? Because the other one that I talked about, it never recovered. It's at 0.00001. Never recovered. Why is that? Because the tokenomics are different. The algorithm is built different. There's something in this one that you have to see to understand. Every single day, 9 a.m. PST, 12 p.m. EST, they have the professionals, they got the developer, the owner. She talks about this thing. She tells you exactly what's going on. She's not on every day, but the leaders that know this thing inside and out, they're on every day. Brandon Ivey, a legend in this industry that do things right, has an educational academy about Bitcoin. He teaches corporate America, corporate anywhere really, leaders about Bitcoin and why it's the sustainable currency. He is the one that talks about this program. And yesterday on the program, on the presentation, he was doing a live claim. He hadn't checked the price. So today being Thursday, about 40 days after the launch. Yeah, I can't, I'm trying to, anyway, it was like about 35, 40 days after the launch, a little bit over a month. The price when he claimed his weekly tokens, the price was at 46 or 47. It was between 46, 47. So let's just say 45 because that's an easy number to deal with. So in about 35 to 40 days after launch, people have, taken profit. People have sold tokens, right, at different intervals. But the price of the token after about a month and a couple of days is at $45 to $46 a token, right? Think of how powerful that is. Think about if you would have said, hey, look, let me get in this thing at $20. You wouldn't even consider getting in at $20 because you never imagined this thing would go this high, because we've seen it happen too many times. But what I did, I repurchased at $15. And you saying, man, why would you buy a token at $15? You know what? This is just transparency. So I put in about $700, right? Let me get in. I hadn't even mined them all the way up to Omegas. I have a couple Omegas and I still have like 4 of some of the other levels. Over 100% mining, but haven't gotten all of them maxed out because I'm one of those guys like, I've seen this happen and, I'm trying to understand everything. I don't even have it all together. But what I know is my $700 is I have with the mining and with the ones I purchased, I got about 120 MQT. So today you can do the math. If I cashed out 120 MQT, I put $700 in myself, 120 MQT times $45 each. You can work that out in your mind, right? I know people that put in $5,000. That's their kind of, look, I'm excited. This is kind of my sweet spot. They did that. They've gotten their money back and they're on profit and still growing. How crazy is that? And this in about a month? In about a month. This is the most powerful thing that you want to see. Some people compare it to Bitcoin because we know how we talk about in other programs. Well, you know what? This is that next bite at the apple. Bitcoin first launched, nobody cared. Nobody knew what it was. Half the people was like, I don't know. 2008, 9, I didn't know nothing about no crypto. So I'm gonna tell you the first time that I got excited about Bitcoin was during the pandemic, 2020, 10 years after it launched. So I said, after I watched it for about a year and I got into crypto, I was studying, I was pretty excited. And I said, you know what? When Bitcoin goes down, because it always goes down to $4,000 or $5,000, I'm gonna get one. That was my 2020 plan. April of 2020, it went down to $4,500. You know what I did? You know what I didn't do? Yeah, I didn't buy it. By the end of 2020, Bitcoin was up to about $20,000. And you know what happened by mid 2021? Bitcoin had went over 50,000. And all I wanted to do was buy it at 4 or 5,000. And I didn't. It dropped and I still didn't get it. So if you want somebody's story, I'm gonna give you my personal story. If I equate this to the next Bitcoin, which I don't personally, I just think everybody has a different type of program. This one is doing things differently, but they have based their tokenomics. They have based their plan on the Bitcoin blockchain. They have kind of a very similar plan. They got 21 million tokens, you know, these type of things. So everything is limited. Everything is set up properly. They have algorithms in place that will repurchase off the market so that the price will continue to grow. And they have proven that this thing is explosive. If I would equate this to anything that I've done, I would say I have been given the opportunity, and you have too, to purchase the next Bitcoin at the 4,500 that I planned to do, but I never did. And now Bitcoin is at $60,000. So even if I held it and missed everything else in between, I still would have had a 30x on my money. Ridiculously high. This is the next opportunity for me personally to get to that level that I was looking for in my crypto space. This right here will be a $100+ coin, and I'm not giving you any financial advice, and I'm not promising you anything. You could lose all your money, but by December, we'll have the over 10,000 people in the program. And yes, you don't have to recruit. I don't do any recruiting. I just talk to my close community, and that's it, right? I do a video, that's it. If you decide that you want to be part of this, you will help us get to that 10,000. You don't even have to join my team. You can just jump. You can sign up through the app. You can, buy your miners, and you can just roll with it. And you will be helping the whole ecosystem. So here's the beauty of it. Let's say you're on Rashid. I've been with you for a long time.